Hello my friends, welcome to another video. This week we're looking at a rather mucky Volvo XC60 Recharge. Yes, it's another Volvo. Regular viewers know how much I do love me a Volvo. This is the first time I've driven the XC60. I just drove the S60 Recharge last week and then traded that in for this thing. And this, it features a lot of the same bits and pieces that the S60 Recharge has. We'll get to that, but first and foremost, as always, we must take in what it looks like. Side profile, let me get low here. Yeah, what do we think? I think it looks good. It really does. It has good lines. It has a high door sills, low roof line, tapers just a bit in the back, so it doesn't cut in too much into the rear seat room. Or headroom, pardon me, but gives it that kind of, that sporty look that everybody's going for these days. You have your charging port up front. I always thought they should lock these things, just so that some dickhead doesn't fill it with sealant or whatever and screw with your day. But anyway, they don't. So there's the charging port. You get, is it 22-inch rims? I can't remember. Yes, it is 22-inch rims. Quite nice looking, actually. I like the two-tone color, etc., matte finish. Some previous journalists have done some damage to those. That happens. We get the now ubiquitous kind of Volvo front end. I do apologize for the dirtiness of this car. I don't know how much of that turns up on camera, but it's quite filthy. It's been one hell of a week. It's also turned into a short week. You'll see more of what I mean in relation to that later on. But we do get the standard Volvo front ends, Thor's hammer headlights. It's a modern Volvo. It looks great. It looks really nice, actually. The XC60 is, of course, their mid-range SUV offering. Very popular, actually. It's funny when you drive a new car that's new to you anyway, how many more of them you see on the road. I know, it's interesting. So we'll start in the back here. Now, well, let me open it and then I'll explain. Ta-da! So I've got a work thing later on today. I'm actually going to go get a whole bunch of customers drunk at a golf tournament, and this is my crap. So I was going to pull it all out and, tidy it up as I usually do, but to be honest, I don't have the time because I need to trade this car in tomorrow because I'm going out of town next week, so it all works out. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So I decided to leave it just to show you what you can and can't fit in the back of this thing. So you've got like one of those shader tent things, full-size cooler, boxes and boxes of stuff to be handed out, golf balls, of course, etc. And it kind of, it takes some stuff, doesn't it? You never know. You got to fold the seats down, of course, otherwise it's pretty much useless. But all of them are like that. The seats are folded and you get space, right? Space, it does okay. It's got a table in there. I forgot about the table. It was buried under all the stuff. And it's good. It's all right. I like it. Yeah, it turned out pretty good. Yeah, you don't often get the opportunity to load one of these things up and see what it can hold, but it does okay. Excuse me. Again, you have to fold those seats down because it's a mid-size, isn't it? So, excuse my bag. Actually, I have no space for anything at the moment. Throw that in there. Okay, into the front seat. So, let's turn it on, shall we? There we go. Okay. Yep, there's that Volvo ding ding. So this has the Volvo front clip, doesn't it? This is what you get in almost, I think, if I'm not mistaken, every car you buy from Volvo. It's all the same. No problem, it's good looking, so no real complaints in that regard. Your dash cluster is a little different because this is a Recharge. So you get your speedo on the left, you get your, depending on what mode you're in, you get your engine revs, or you get your energy consumption and your braking, your regen braking, that kind of stuff on the right. You also get this little display down here, which gives you your range remaining, I should say, on your battery, because this is a plug-in hybrid electric, thus the Recharge, and then your regular good old-fashioned internal combustion. So it says here, I do want to comment that I have 52 kilometers of pure electric range left. That's pretty good. When I fired up the car this morning, about a half hour ago, it said I had 65 in total. So I've probably plugged it in, and charged it 4 times this week, you get 50 to 55 kilometers in the real world of range on pure electric. And that's pretty solid. You know, I did a little bit of Googling, and it said that the average Canadian commute anyway is about 45 kilometers a day. So you could theoretically drive this thing on pure electric to work and back anyway without any concerns. And if you need to detour to the grocery store, well, you've got the gas engine to back you up should you need a few extra clicks. So yeah, it's quite useful actually and practical. One of my concerns with plug-in hybrid electrics is that the electric component is always tiny. It's like they make it just to tick a box or something, you know, or satisfy a carbon emissions requirement. I don't know. But this one, it's built for practical purposes to actually be used as an electric car, call it 70% of the time or whatever. So, and it does work, and it works well. So kudos to them. You do also get the, again, sort of standard navigation window in the dash. I like that a lot. It's just very practical. You see it in various cars, and I like the fact that it's here. I think it's great. You get Google built in. God bless you, Google. Yeah, this system is what it is, doesn't change. It sort of works. It's okay. One thing I wanted to touch on in the driving window tab thing are your drive modes. So you get 5 of them. You get hybrid, which uses the electric and the gas. You get power, which uses all of them at the same time. Hybrid alternates from electric to gas, depending on what the demands are. Power uses both all the time. That's the fun one. Pure is electric only. Off-road uses both, but it's for off-road because you're going to take your Volvo out to the bush, I'm sure. And constant all-wheel drive it's always feeding power to all 4 wheels. It doesn't, bias the front or the back or whatever. It's full-time all-wheel drive, I guess. So you have control over your battery usage, and then you can always fire up the car in electric mode only. For the purposes of this drive, we're going to put it in power mode. Ooh. The engine just fired up. Inside this unit, you of course get the HVAC controls. Hello. There we go. One thing I wanted to comment on. Now, I don't know if this is just me being a dumb blonde, but I noticed that so you see here, it's on high, like temperature-wise, it's synced, etc. It is currently anyway, feeding to the front windows. Turn that down. Sorry. Feeding to the windscreen, right, for defrost purposes. But for the life of me, when it was on electric mode, I couldn't get any heat out of it. You get air conditioning, but we're at that time of year right now where it's a little chilly in the morning and sometimes you need to defrost the windows, etc. So you want a little bit of heat. I couldn't get it to generate heat until I turned the gas engine on. Weird. Or it's just me and I'm not understanding the gubbins that I'm looking at here. So comment down below if I'm being stupid, because Lord knows you guys have pointed out that happens from time to time. So yeah, that was weird, and I don't know if that's a quirk of this car or a quirk of me. But anyway, moving on. You get these really cool Volvo vents, etc. Love them. They're in every Volvo. Forgive the nonsense here in the center console. I just don't have anywhere else to put this stuff. So I have my ubiquitous cup of Tim Hortons because I'm Canadian through and through. And you get the Volvo shifter. So sometimes you get it, depending on your trim level, you get like a regular leather wrap thing with a hole in it. So I'm always toggling. Or you get this crystal jewel thing, which is interesting. I don't really care which one you get, to be honest. I find them both useful. This is just glitzy. This is as gaudy as it gets in a Volvo. You get the twisty start-stop thing, which I like a lot actually. E-brake, cup holders. You get a teeny tiny, storage compartment here, and that's about it. I forgot to mention that we can't really go in the back seats, can we? Because it's full of crap. But the back seats are nice. You get heated seats back there, independent controls, etc. And that's it. And you also get a pano roof. Now, as in all Volvos, modern Volvos, the pano roof is included in all trim levels, which is great because when we talk about the price of this car, that's going to be a factor. Wow, look how hazy it is this morning. Wildfires everywhere, my friends. British Columbia is on fire right now. I guess it's... There we go. We'll turn that off. Sorry. I forgot that was blowing away. Probably ruined the audio. So that's the interior of the XC40. We should go for a drive. One of the interesting things about the Volvo plug-in hybrid electrics is the power that you get. The S60 that I drove last week is probably the perfect daily driving experience. If you like sedans, which I do, I love them, to be honest. I much prefer them to the everyday SUV experience. My knees don't love it as much, but I do. My heart does. So that last week with that car was absolutely amazing. I loved it. It was great. And to top it all off, it was fast. And not just, you know, it had a bit of grunt. It was fast. You know, so this vehicle features the same powertrain, which gives you 455 horsepower, just over 500 pound-feet of torque. You know, in a mid-sized SUV offering, I mean, it's a boatload of power, isn't it? And it's, you know, dead rabbits in the road. It's practical. And it's just, yeah, I mean, you don't get serious turbo lag because you have the electric drivetrain to sort of torque fill. Yeah, it's phenomenal, isn't it? I just think it's great. You know, and you don't expect it from Volvos, do you? So it's a great thing to have. You know, it makes it very nippy to drive. Like it's you know, very nimble. Anyway, you know, it really just it puzzles you, like it surprises you in a great way, sort of, especially on your daily drive. So just to confirm, we are in power mode. Yeah, because I'll do a dead stop to 100 just to give you guys an idea of how this thing goes. I just want to make sure there aren't any enforcers of the law around here, because this is a neighborhood where bad things happen sometimes. Okay, so let's do dead stop, and then 1, 2, 3, go. Slow down before I get arrested. So that was 0 to 100 in however long it took. I'll put that on the screen. One of these days I'll figure out how to do a counter. Yeah, I mean, it was, interestingly, not as electric, not as thrilling as the experience in the S60. That was faster, and it really pushed you back into the seat. This is rated a little slower. The S60 is 4.5 seconds to 60. This is 4.88, I believe. And I have a lot of crap in the back, so that is a factor. I apologize for that, especially when I'm performing a speed test. But today is just, everything's not working out the way I normally prefer it does. But it is still very fast. I can assure you, if you don't load all this crap in the back, it is a genuinely sporty drive, which I really enjoy. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk pricing. So typically speaking, Volvos represent really good value if you opt for the base range. This particular vehicle is in a Recharge with the ultimate trim, with some bits and pieces added to it. Now the XC60 starts in Canadian dollars at around 64,000. That's quite a bit. You know, I mean, you get a lot. You get the panel roof. You get, you know, most of the equipment you see here. But that is, you know, that's pushing the boundaries of what I would be willing to pay for this car, if I'm honest. This vehicle as spec'd, and this is, again, the ultimate trim. It has the Bowers & Wilkins stereo, which is a nice stereo, but you certainly don't need it. And to be honest, the speaker on the dash here looks a little like a clitoris, doesn't it? Clearly, this thing was designed by men who don't spend a lot of time south of the border. But you don't need that stereo. The regular one is fine. If you end up in the ultimate trim, you get the Harman Kardon stereo. You don't need that either. The normal stereo is just fine, to be honest. So you don't get that. This has air suspension. You don't need that. And I mean, you don't need most of what comes with the 18,000 additional dollars you'll spend for the ultimate trim. This one as spec'd, though, comes in at $89,000. $89,000. That's almost 90. And that's a lot. Far too expensive. Far too expensive. It puts it in the firing line of so many of its German rivals. You can, I mean, yeah, sorry. Yeah, you can do the Genesis GV70 full electric, which is a wonderful driving experience for $85, and you get everything in it. you know. I mean, on down, it's way too much money. You know, if you are seriously interested in an XC60, which lots of us are, because I see them on the road all the time, yeah, go for the base model. Maybe the mid trim, which is, what's that called? The Pure? I can't remember. Volvo and their advertising stuff. But I mean, to max this thing out, I mean, it's just ridiculous. You know, you think the Germans are good at ripping you off on additional optional extras and increased trim levels. Man, the Swedes have really figured it out for when it comes to this car. And maybe it's numbers. You know, they know how many they're going to sell. They know how much they can demand. Look at that sunshine. That's all. It's like orange, and it's like 7 o'clock in the morning right now. And it's all the smoke from the wildfires that we're having here. Well, people are having wildfires all over the world, isn't it? It sucks, man. It really does. Makes for an interesting sunrise, though. But anyway, back to the car. You know, I mean, at $90,000, I mean, this thing is just, there's way too many other options, most of which I would at least seriously consider. But at base trim level, you know, it's a decision you could make and be comfortable with. Yeah, I don't know. That one, I was just going through the sheet this morning, and it absolutely blew my mind. I could not believe it. Yeah, it was a surprise, to be honest. So, anyway, moving on. How do I like how this thing drives? It's great. All-wheel drive. You've got that 455 horsepower and a boatload of torque. The electric drive is great. It's very quiet. It's sophisticated, and it is useful. You know, you can charge it obviously at home on a regular outlet. You can do level 2 charging. It doesn't take anything more than that. Overnight, it takes about, to be honest, it takes about 12 hours to fully charge the battery, 10 to 12 hours, give or take, depending on how depleted it is. So, you know, if you come home late in the evening and plug it in, it might not be ready to go first thing the following morning. But for, you know, the normal everyday commute stuff, it does work, truly. And I think that's great. You know, I drove the Lincoln Aviator last year, the plug-in hybrid electric, and it had like, I think 29 kilometers of range, or 31. And in the real world, that worked out to like 21 or something. It was just, I mean, it was ridiculous, right? Again, it was all about ticking boxes on forms, I think. So this is a very practical plug-in hybrid electric that you can drive. It's quiet in here. The greenhouse is nice. That pano roof is great. It's tinted in such a way that you don't get a lot of obnoxious light, which is good. So I can actually leave it open. Oftentimes I don't like being harassed by the sun, and I'm sensitive to it. So it's nice to be able to open that up, get, you know, lots of light without, you know, being blasted in the face by it. And yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed the hell out of this thing this week. It's been really nice. My only real objection for this particular model anyway is the price point. It's just too much. So if you're in the market, give it a drive. If you like it, look at the lower trims. Don't spank this one up. It'll hurt you. And otherwise, I mean, go look at, you know, any one of 30 other options that are out there. You know, there's lots of good stuff out there for very reasonable money. So, and some of them are plug-in hybrid electric. You know, some of them are just general hybrid, etc. So there are options for sure. And I guess that'll do it. Normally, sorry if I end up cutting it short. I've got to go. I've got a full day ahead of me, and then I got to go swap this thing out first thing tomorrow morning. So I've got things to do. But I hope you guys have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good one, guys.